but I'll take the liberty to introduce myself. I'm Jason Dobney, and I'm the curator in charge of the musical instruments department. This week we're featuring Persian mystic music, or mystical Persian music. And the instruments you'll see tonight are a tambur, string instrument, and a daf, a drum, and you'll see them throughout the galleries, but especially in the case over here on the left-hand side, where we have instruments of the great tambur player, Ustad Lahi. And we want to thank the Noor Foundation for the loan of those instruments and also for sponsoring this concert tonight. Now, help me welcome Emmanuel During on tambur and Dara Afraz on daf.
Thank you very much, Jason, for this nice introduction. Thank you for coming. So, as a short introduction, I'm a physician during the day. I'm a musician otherwise. I've always practiced music. I've always learned instruments and performed on different instruments, mostly string instruments. So I've played the tambur since I was very young. And I've always continued. This instrument has a very special place for me and particular importance. In fact, I play many instruments, but if there's one I would never want to stop playing is the tambur, really, and I think you'll understand why. There's a lot of depth to this music, and I think a lot of challenges for a musician, and I just keep learning about this music, and it's just an endless journey for me. Talking a little bit about the tambur now, so this is a very old instrument that goes back to at least 4,000 years. In different forms and dimensions, but it belongs to the family of long-necked lutes. In the 20th century, Ustad Lahi made a number of improvements and really elevated the music to the level of an art. This is for an introduction to this music, to the instrument, and now we're going to start with a piece that may illustrate some of these notions that I just explained. The piece is called Sheikh Amiri. It's contemplative and meditative, and we have 17 versions of Sheikh Amiri recorded by Ustad, and those versions are related to different interpretations by local musicians or different areas in Iran. And the most complex or elaborate version is that of from Ustad himself, which I'm going to try and demonstrate for you. another piece, very different, rhythmic piece, so that you realize that not all pieces are meditative, contemplating in this mystical repertoire. This piece is called Halparka. Halparka is also the name of a rhythm, a very important rhythm. Dora is going to demonstrate in a moment, but basically Halparka can be understood as, for musicians here, as a 10/8. You're going to hear the DAF as well, and I'll play a series of pieces. Some of them we are typically sang, but I'm not going to sing. But that gives you a little bit of context.
Thank you, everyone. Like you heard, my name is Dara, and I was born in a musical family with a vocalist specializing in Persian classical music. So at a very young age, my ears were kind of trained with that kind of music in Persian culture. And also I specialize in performing Middle Eastern percussions, especially daf and tombak. And maybe I can give a little bit intro about the instrument that I'm playing tonight. So the daf, in the biggest form, dates back to 7th and 8th centuries BC, and its original shape was square, and I'm sure there's a version of that at the museum right now, if you have noticed. About 1300 years ago in Egypt, the circle version of that started appearing. And there's also an octagon version of that, which is very unique in shape. With that introduction, I will be playing a few minutes of very rhythms that not necessarily might represent that region or that culture, but it's derived from them, and some elements of improvisation and other elements that are introduced later on will be part of it as well.
All right, so the following piece is called Saru Khani. Saru means starling, the bird. Khan is a song, so it could be the song of the starling, but also could be named after Saru Khan, who was a saint. Saru Khani is a very popular piece in the religious tradition of eastern part of Kurdistan. It has a narrative aspect to it, so it's often coupled or easily coupled with poetry. may have noticed already the sound of the tambour changed. The color, the tone of the tambour changed because I just changed the tuning and I'm using an interval of second. So there's a full tone between the two. In this mode, which is called Farangi. Farangi literally means European, which I assume is related to the fact that it sounds like it's coming from elsewhere, from outside Iran. And that's another contribution or improvement from Ostad, which is integrating this tuning, which is rarely used and maybe only in Azerbaijan and maybe some parts of Turkey. I hope you'll enjoy it.